going okay?
Rachel's burning the midnight oil next door for the
Oh,
upcoming play.
what's the play?
Alice in Wonderland.
Uh,
Doing the costume for it, so it's,
Holy cow.
you just kind of do this, that, at one point it all comes together. But she's
Yeah.
spent all the time.
And you just moved to the basement, right?
Well, no, what I do is I actually go and I do like some of the work that like cut all these shapes out. And I don't know what's gonna happen with them, but it's like the stuff that you don't need big brain to do.
It is.
You know, so then I show you like that, which gets something else in front of me.
Yep.
You know how you do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. All right. Hmm? Yeah, let me just move that off.
Let us now settle
Check,
into
1,
a
2.
spirit of worship with a moment of quiet, to be followed by the music of C. Lawson, Promise Made on Signal Mountain.
We light this chalice for the holy restlessness that it stirs in us, the longing that will not let us settle for lives too small or a world too narrow. We light it also for the quieter wisdom that whispers beneath our wanting, inviting us to loosen our grip, to release what no longer serves, to make room for what is true. May this flame hold both our yearning and our letting go. May it illumine the path from hunger to wholeness, from wishing for more to wanting less, and finding enough.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Worcester, a congregation of hope, love, and justice, inspiring people to take on the challenges of a changing world. My name is Anna Gregory, and I'm one of your worship associates this morning. We acknowledge that in Worcester, Massachusetts, we work, learn, live, and worship on the seized ancestral homeland of the Nipmuc people, who survive and remain active as a Nipmuc tribe. For more information about the Nipmuc community, please see the brochure in our foyer. We offer a special welcome to those visiting for the first time. We are delighted that you are here. Please join us in Fellowship Hall following the service for refreshments and conversation. If you have questions about the ministries and programs of this congregation, please ask. Lastly, we invite you to fill out one of the cards found in the pews. These cards can be placed in the offering plate or given to one of the ushers or greeters this morning. For those of you joining us online this morning, we offer you a very special welcome. For safety purposes and so that we might come to know you better as you are able, please place your name on the video feed. Please take a moment to sign the attendance clipboard that is now being circulated. Someone can actually get that one. You are not obligated to sign, but we appreciate the information and will use it for church purposes only. During the service, we offer an opportunity to share brief personal joy or sorrow. If you'd like yours to be read aloud, please print it on an index card in the pew and drop it in the collection plate. For those online, please place a joy or sorrow in the chat and we will share it during this time in the service. In the foyer are listening devices, large print service programs, and hymnals for those who may find their assistance beneficial. Please see one of our ushers for assistance. I invite you now to turn your technology to worship mode. Finally, please note the announcements on the back of your program. There will be time for short verbal announcements following the postlude. We are so glad that you are here and hope that this morning is an opportunity for rest, reflection, and rejuvenation. So now I'm putting my fundraising hat on, if I can have it, please, sir. Thank you. This is cashy. I always put it on when I think about raising money. So the auction opens February 28th at midnight and runs through March 7th. Look for the link to the auction site in the Tuesday message so you can start bidding at midnight on Saturday. But before we open the auction site, I need a little help from the congregation in this week ahead. We have so far gift cards from restaurants, a massage therapist, cleaning services, sailing lesson, a bookstore, and more. But unfortunately, there are only about 60 items listed in the auction so far, and we usually have closer to 100. So I'm asking for one last push this week, one last push to support so we can increase the number of items by Saturday. Can you think of friends who own businesses? What about establishments you frequent often? I have found that with a personal connection, people are likely to give. I called up the gentleman who sharpens my knives at the Holden Farmers Market, and he said yes, and he will offer $50 of knife sharpening services. So if you have a friend who owns a liquor store, those gift cards are very easy to auction off. So please, if you're lucky in securing items, you can use a link connected to the auction flyer in the Tuesday message, or you can email directly, or you can see one of the posters that you'll see around in the classrooms, and there's also one in Fellowship Hall. Thanks so much. Let's make 1 million.
The opening words are by Aaron Payson for a season of clearing and becoming. Beloveds, we gather at this threshold of Lent, not as a season of shame or scarcity, but as a spacious invitation to notice our lives more tenderly. This is a time for honest inventory. What have we been carrying that exhausts us? What have we been chasing that does not nourish? What have we been postponing that might bring us back to ourselves? Here in this circle of trust, we are free to name our longings without apology. We are free to release our burdens without fear. We are free to imagine a life where enough is not a compromise, but a blessing. May this hour open us to clarity, to courage, to the sacred art of wanting less, so that we may live more.
Please join in our opening hymn, number 262. And let me just say, the closing hymn is miswritten in terms of the number, so if you will note at the end of the service, we'll be singing hymn number 151, also from the Gray Hymnal. But for now, let's turn to hymn number 262. And can this mic go down just a hair? Please rise in body or in spirit.
Hosanna in the highest, eager hearts proclaim the prophet of the kingdom, who bears Messiah's name. All bold, all foolish peasants to deem that he should reign. The temple and the palace down in high disdain. Long ages dim the message, custom has sufficed. The merchants of the princes bow and own in Christ. But when another spirit arises from the plain, the courts of power tremble and crucify again. The first of many prophets, love of simple folk, to free us from the bondage, break oppression's yoke, restore our minds to wisdom, make known the life, the way that leads through love and justice, that peace crowned day.
Please be seated. I want to call forth now our basket bearers, those members of our religious exploration program who come forward each time we gather for worship to collect change for change, which is our weekly opportunity to contribute to the emergency fund of the congregation. If you have change you would like to contribute, please raise your hand and one of our bearers will find you. Don't forget the radical left and the radical right of the congregation. Come up. Up. Some in the back. Victor, in the back. And don't forget Shaw, way back there. Thank you so much. Look at that. And I can, oh, there are a couple more. Whoop. Victor right there.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now, thank you. Go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
To quote the immortal words of Madeline Kahn of blessed memory, I'm tired. I'm so tired. Lord, I'm tired of winter. And the prospect of yet another snowmageddon frustrates me no end. I'm tired of shoveling. I am tired of snow blowing. I am tired of salt. I am tired of snow piles. I am tired of the cold. I am tired of ice in all its forms. I'm tired of worrying about heating oil prices. I'm tired of being tired by all of this. I'm verklempt. I want winter to end. Amen? Amen? I wish it were spring. Wait a minute. I wish to be about planting my gardens. I wish for the smell of newly mown grass. I wish for sunlight and birdsong and the sound of the babbling brook behind my house. I wish for the smell of lilac in my yard and to greet the white cherry blossoms and azalea blooms with the smile that they inspire in me. Anyone know what I mean? But here's the thing, though. Come mid-August, I am probably going to be one of the first to be tired of the heat. I'm tired of sweating, tired of yard work, tired of sun glare, tired of 3 t-shirt days, anxious about the next electric bill, and hoping for the onset of cool fall breezes. Every season has its apex. That point when we turn from what we had hoped for the next thing we hope for on the horizon. Always, always accompanied by tiredness. There is nothing new about the waxing and the waning of our desires and our seasonal routines. As a species, we've met these challenges over time with a kind of creative flair, if you ask me. Winter rituals when we bring greenery and light into the dark corners of our abodes, spring celebrations that bring us into the flowering presence of nature, summertime near the cool water of lakes and ocean tide, fall harvest festivals with treks into the wilderness, a leaf with changing color. All human efforts to honor the change we experience in nature and in ourselves. I would argue that this is also the genius and the timing of the Winter Olympics. Right? Happening as it does during the last gasp of winter, so we were told. What a powerful display of human capacity to meet challenges of the season with courage and steadfast commitment and athleticism. And let's admit that this spectacle every 4 years is also a product of a commercial culture that creates heroes and heroines from those who already have fortunate enough to have access to the finest resources that money can buy. So while I too was excited to see the U.S. win gold in the women's hockey, the men play yesterday? They're playing now? Oh, Lord, I have to be in competition with that? Someone had better have their earpiece in and give updates at some point here. No updates? Oh, because you want to go home and see it. Ah, okay. No updates. None.
This is an opportunity to get some extra money for the church. How much are they willing to pay?
Oh, bring the baskets back.
Before I left, it was 1-0.
Well, we understand that so many have spent years preparing for this moment, and so many are looking forward to having their moment when they get home. The idea that one's life would be defined by a 3 or 5 minute performance or a 45-minute performance, and not by the journey to get to it or the thrill of being part of it, seems to miss the point of it all anyway. The fact that someone can race down a mountain at the speed of sound, leap into the air, grab both feet and flex them behind their head, part their hair, and land backwards while humming the national anthem ought to be enough for a standing ovation, regardless of whether they hit the right line in the end or not. And I bring a similar sensibility to the season of Lent, which began again last Wednesday, on Ash Wednesday, that 40-day period of preparation in the Christian tradition for the coming of Easter and resurrection. And if we're honest about it, while Lent certainly is a Christian tradition, it is overlaid on a much more ancient period of contemplation and preparation for humanity. Jim Palmer writes in his Substack, Deconstructionology, long before the church formalized it, Lent was a human season, a seasonal rhythm, a communal pause embedded in agrarian life, a time when winter scarcity forced people to simplify and conserve and reflect and prepare for renewal, all while being tired. That's my addition. Christianity didn't invent that rhythm, it inherited it. It codified it, it gave it theological language. And the heretical truth is this, writes Palmer, Lent is not owned by Christianity. It is a human technology for awakening and recalibrating and returning to what matters. That's why it still resonates, even for people who have left religion entirely. Because beneath the doctrines, Lent is simply this, a pause, clearing, a reckoning, a return, a season for waking up. Palmer points to Ash Wednesday as a good example of this universal call to awaken. Ash Wednesday, he writes, is the threshold moment that opens Lent, a ritual interruption designed to snap you out of the trance of ordinary life. Traditionally, it's been a day when someone smears ashes on your forehead and says, "Remember, you are dust." But beneath that religious choreography, Ash Wednesday is a human technology for confronting the truth we spend most of our lives avoiding. It's an annual reminder that we are not finite, that we are finite, that our time is limited, that life is not guaranteed, and that our attention is most precious resource. Ash Wednesday is not about shame, not about groveling, it's not about proving your devotion, it's about reality, a kind of reality we avoid until something collapses. It's the ritualized moment when the universe taps you on the shoulder and says, "Stop pretending you're invincible." Ash Wednesday is a day we collectively break the cultural spell of endlessness. It's a day we stop performing immortality. It's a day we admit to our lives that our lives are not finite, infinite scrolls. We are dust, yes, but dust that can choose, dust that can awaken, dust that can live with intention instead of momentum. I love that. Living with intention instead of momentum. In its ancient form, Palmer writes, Ash Wednesday wasn't meant to make you feel small, it was meant to make you awake. For Palmer, and I would argue for so many, the basis of the Lenten season upon which the Christian tradition is founded is much more about the natural rhythm in us to pause, especially at a time of year when there isn't much else to do except shovel snow. And it is the creative possibilities available to us in a time which is the mark of our species, making us different from all other forms of being. For as Rollo May reminds us, we are the only species that is capable of pausing between stimulus and response, and in that moment to decide where to direct our energy. The blogger reminds us that we built a culture that rewards numbness, speed, self-abandonment. We've normalized distraction as a lifestyle. We've turned avoidance into an operating system. I love that. And in that kind of world, a season devoted to slowing down and waking up and confronting reality is not just helpful, it's radical. He writes, I'm taking Lent out of the church and dragging it into the open. I'm putting it back in the hands of people who have walked away, burned out, been exiled, and simply realized their spiritual life is too big to fit inside the walls they inherited. I'm doing this because Lent never belonged to religion in the first place. Religion borrowed it, institutionalized it, and, he says, let's be honest, weaponized it. But the deeper rhythm, the existential rhythm, has always been human. He notes that the word Lent is derived from the Old English word meaning spring. Isn't that simple? Spring, the lengthening of days and light, a season of awakening to the rest of nature itself, was never meant, he writes, to be a 40-day guilt marathon. Any of you baptized into that tradition? Mm-hmm. Some of you? I love this. It was meant to be a season of awakening, a human recalibration synced to the rhythms of the natural world. Religion later overlaid it with a sin language and penitential theatrics, but the original meaning is embarrassingly simple. Wake up! But Ash Wednesday is a bit like the first morning alarm going off, if you ask me. We're cozy, and the idea of getting out of bed needs more thought and perhaps an appetizer. When the second and the third and the fourth alarms go off, we are frumpy, cold, and uncaffeinated. It takes a few minutes to find our bearings and the coffee or teapot, and to greet the day with something more than the pre-verbal grunt that foisted us up in the first place. Maybe it's the shower or the warm liquid energy of the tea, or maybe it's the text from a friend that tells us some exciting news. Eventually, most of us course change and gather ourselves for the day ahead. For me, it is the quiet of the house before my other two-legged and four-legged companions awake. It's the silence of those moments. In the darkness as it fades into the light of day. A time when all is a possibility and nothing yet has been accomplished, that I find most energizing. A time to breathe, a time to think, a time to remember, and a time to appreciate that moment. That's Lent. I admit that I may be strange here. For others, I know the same moment brings a different set of emotions and thoughts, but I think that the lesson of Lent, in its more universal foundation, is an apt example of what is possible in the moment. What we allow ourselves to remember is important. I have read to you from the book Who Brought This Truckload of Dung by Ajahn Chah, the Buddhist monk and author. He tells another story in that book about an experiment, I think in England, between two classrooms. So educators, I want you to think about this. 2 classrooms of kids. Both classes are given examinations to determine class rank. And here's the experiment. Instead of creating 2 classes the next year where those who score highest on the test are in one class and those who score lowest on the test are in another, they take the top 10 or so and they divide them evenly among those 2 classes. The next year, they assign one class, Class A, and one class, Class B. And they go about the year. And to be honest, Class A'ers think they're pretty good. And they're taught such. Class B, they wonder why they're in a second class. They're taught such. Their parents even enforce this. The Class A'ers, some of them have parents that are like, I didn't have any doubts. Other parents are like, I cannot believe you're in Class A. This is remarkable. And in Class B, the same kind of thing. Everyone is like, why are you in Class B? You should be in Class A. This is not your best. But yet both classes have a mix of students. Can you guess the outcome at the end of the year in terms of another set of tests? How do you think Class A did on a whole? Much better. And Class B, much worse. I want us to bring the same sensibility to Lent. You enter it, go ahead, enter it with all of the mourning and frustration and the sin language and the incapacity and the mea culpa and everything. And guess what? You're going to have 40 days of mush. 40 days of slog. 40 days of spiritual mire to get, and no chocolate to boot, right? Or caffeine, right? For those who are strict, no meat protein, right? It becomes something that we don't look forward to. But if you enter Lent with the possibility that this is actually a gift to clear yourself of the ways that you and I get distracted from the things that matter, and to give yourself the space to focus on the things that do, it takes on its original meaning. Right? The ancient Jewish mystics used to talk about, in order for the master of the universe to create, right, the universe, the master of the universe needed to create space in itself for the universe to exist and expand. I think that is an inherent quality of beingness. You want growth? You want something different? You want possibility? Stop cramming your life with everything. Stop trying to fill the void and allow the void to exist in order for it to be filled with the integrity of your own spirit. Your ability to make space is actually one of the most creative human things that you can accomplish. And yet we live in a culture that is consuming itself and consumed by itself, which is part of the reason that Lent ought to be that opportunity for us to stop consuming. But it isn't about the chocolate, although it could be. I hear that Reese's is really angry with Hershey's right now for changing the formula in peanut butter cups. This is distressing for someone who grew up 45 minutes from Hershey. I want to admit it, right? And yet, it is exactly that kind of critique which suggests someone's paying attention. It's not just about consuming things, it's about tasting things. It's about experiencing things. It's about noticing things. Cha writes again in his book on who brought this truckload of dung about, experiencing gardening. How many of you are gardeners? Right? So if I said to you, how do you enjoy your garden? Right? How many of you would say, I love to just sit in my garden? Mm-hmm. A couple of you, right? Excellent. Now, those of you who had your hands raised, how many of you sit in your garden and immediately begin to notice the things have yet to be done? Right? And spend your energy enjoying your garden and going, I should really do that. I should really be this, right? We should all over ourselves as a matter of saying we're enjoying something, right? Or those of you who spend your energy sitting in your garden going, maybe I ought to not think about all of those things. Maybe I ought to think about this. I ought to, and it's all about what you're not doing in the moment. It's not about you fixing the garden. It's about you not giving yourself an opportunity to just breathe. And how many of you sit in your garden and get lost in birdsong or in blooms or in the fragrance of the ground as it comes alive? Our capacity to clear ourselves in order to be able to receive the gifts of every season is in fact what Lent demonstrates, if we allow it to demonstrate. And so my gift to you today is to remember Madeline Kahn. I know you're tired, and I know more snow is coming. And I know it's not what we wish for at this moment, except for my wife, who has an insatiable appetite for winter. Although, I must say, she's not the one who shovels. But she does make a hell of a stew, so I'm not going to complain. Accept the fact that you're tired. But then take a moment and move beyond your tiredness and recognize that claiming tiredness is not just about recognizing a physical state, it's also about declaring a longing for something else. And if you can pay attention to what you long for and recognize why it is that you can't move to that in the moment, maybe, just maybe, that moment of contemplation, that time of preparation, that opportunity to remember what it is you long for is the point of the season to begin with. Because winter will end, I promise you. Right? And we will get to the season where we get to enjoy our gardens. And then we will be tired of them. And we will move to the next phase of our longing. But in each moment, take a Lent moment. Enjoy the next 48 hours. You're stuck. There is nothing you can do about it, except bitch or enjoy. The choice is yours. Amen? Amen. To take up an offering every time we come together, and I want to say I am deeply appreciative of all of the effort that went again into this month's distribution for our food pantry, which happened yesterday when we had so many families and so many volunteers in the place, making certain that people were stocked in order to survive the possibility of power outages and lack of ability to get anywhere over the next few weeks. We saw families of every size. We saw families of every culture. We saw families that both had their own needs, but also were making certain that their neighbors and their relatives were being cared for. It is a community effort that we continue to strive to embody here, and it is one of the most important pieces of our mission, to remind people not only that there are resources that we can provide for each other, but we can also companion each other into health and wholeness. Amen? Which is exactly what I want us to continue to do, and why taking up an offering is a part of that process, so that we can continue this mission of being the center of a community that demonstrates compassion and care, not just for those who are here, but for everyone who calls this place home. This time, our morning offering will be received. We come to that time in our service when we're given pause to consider what is deepest in our hearts, or most profoundly on our minds, or in the work of our hands. In the days that have transpired, or in the prospect of days to come, joys and sorrows that touch us deeply and are given another measure of meaning because of our capacity to share them in the midst of a company that claims us as a co-journeyer. So I invite those of you who have joys or sorrows of this day to come forward and form lines on either side of the sanctuary, to come and speak briefly into the microphone, telling us first who you are, so that those using our auditory enhancement devices might also participate in this important ritual, and then to light a candle if you so desire. Or if you would like me to read your joy or sorrow aloud, you might bring it forward on a card and I will include it. For those of you who are online, last minute reminder that you're welcome to place your joy or sorrow in the chat, and that will also be shared during this important time in our service. Are the joys or sorrows to be shared this day?
Bringing up the Olympics, I'm wearing a Norwegian sweater. It's interesting. It gives me, the Olympics gives me an opportunity to root both for the United States and for Norway, which is where most of my ancestors came from. And I feel I can no longer ski, like cross-country ski or anything like that, but just watching it somehow gives me some kind of joy. I don't know how. And kind of in relation to that, both the offertory and the musical meditation are going to be by a Norwegian composer named Ola Yeho.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Vicki Biancolo, and I don't know how to. I haven't put this all together in my head, so this might come out in pieces rather than as a whole. But so I have been in the. So this is a personal joy for me. So in the past year, 2 years, probably, I've been stuck in a toxic job, in a toxic workplace. And a lot of things have happened with my family, like there have been real challenges, like everybody. And somebody gave me the advice to notice the things that go right. Not like a gratitude journal at the end of the day, but during the day. If something goes right, say out loud, wow, good things keep happening to me. And so I've been trying to do that, and Aaron reminded me this morning with your sermon on Lent that I actually have, so right today, this morning I drove my youngest daughter, to Logan to get on a flight for Chicago. I'm going to miss her terribly, terribly. And also this week, I'm starting a new job. Actually, I got out of the toxic job, and I'm starting a new job. And this morning, one of the things, thank you, thank you. I'm thrilled, I can't wait. And I brought my phone up here because what I really wanted to tell you is that, so one of my anxiety coping things that I've been doing is when I'm feeling sad, have been doing this, when I've been feeling sad or anxious or like something's been, I just, even while I'm actually watching a movie, I'll pick up my phone and just do New York Times crossword puzzles, like over and over, like the next one, because the archive goes back to 1993. I don't know if you wanted to know that, but it does. There are lots of puzzles. And this morning on my trip that I was sad about bringing my daughter to the airport, I ran out of puzzles. I'm actually up to date. And so there are no more, so I cannot do this anymore.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So anyway, I just feel like good things keep happening to me, because that's actually a good thing, that this coping thing that I've been doing with the puzzles is over. And I need to, it's a new beginning and a new start. And so this time of Lent, anyway, this is just a real joy for me. And I'm old. So those of you who are younger than I am, they just keep coming. So I just wanted to say that too. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sherry. We have a little bit of a theme. I got a new job this week too. Starting March 9th, I will be a stabilization case manager for families in the home base program. So I'm really happy.
Hi, my name is Paul, and I had a surprise yesterday. I was in Boston. Now, I don't know if you've heard, like Peg, I guess, broke her something, and she's recovering now. Peg, yeah.
Hip, yeah.
And some hip maybe. But, so I had Peg on the mind, and I ran into Janet Stone, and I called her Peg. Oh well, but I was surprised to see her, and it was really a good, and we chatted for a couple minutes and went on. And the other, there was another thing was that I'm starting to enjoy my life now. And that's a challenge for me, because I'm always thinking, you know, like waiting for the other shoe to drop. And let it drop.
I'm Erin. I just wanted to share a couple joys. One is my 13-year-old son has recently started taking up chess, and he's actually pretty good at it, much better than I am, and I've never really been good at chess, but I'm learning more about it and getting really inspired by him, so that's been really fun. And the other joy I want to share is my husband, with his bare hands, removed all of our ice dams from the gutter. It was amazing.
Hi, I'm Mara. I had fun yesterday. I got trained on spreading the word about LUCE, the group that watches out for ICE coming and taking people away. So I went to door on Main Street, Main South, near Clark, and without exception, every place we went into, they're a little put off by people with lanyards and clipboards, but as soon as they understood that we were here to give them a phone number to call if they see ICE, they were like, oh, yeah, you can put that sign up in my window. Yeah, give me the cards with the phone numbers. Yes, we want to know about this. It was really fun. I recommend it if they do it again.
Good morning. I'm so glad I don't have to worry about Catholic Lent anymore. I just wanted to tell you that we did a second run for the clothes, and it was very successful again. Lots of gloves this time, beautiful scarf, and a couple of pairs of socks, and 2 coats. And so I'm going to let it run. Well, I'll see what we have today, and I think maybe we're out of coats. I don't know. But I will let it run again because I now know why they want egg cartons. They get food, ACE gets food in bulk, and they get eggs in bulk. In order to distribute them, they need cartons so that they can only, they can distribute them more easily. So that's why they're asking for egg cartons. And they're asking for white and black beans, oil, cooking oil, jasmine rice, paper bags, and shopping bags. I'd just like to read a paragraph about what's going on with the Haitians, and we have to keep on this too as invested human beings. This comes from the ACE, and it has to do with the LUCE program, the Immigrant Justice Network as well. Federal immigration enforcement remains aggressive, and federal decisions continue to influence the future of temporary protected status. That's what the Haitians have. Many in the ACE community, including Haitian new arrivals who hold TPS, temporary protected status, also navigate prolonged immigration processing delays that affect work authorization and stability. These enforcement actions and policy shifts contribute to heightened uncertainty and instability for families across Central Mass. If you want to support immigrant communities, there are some tangible ways that you can do that, and I can post this on the bulletin. For those who don't know what ACE is, it's the African Community Education Program that we have worked with for probably at least 10 years around the holidays. But they got so big because they were so successful in attracting people for shelter and help that we were no longer able to contribute to this holiday giving. But we can still contribute clothes that we don't need anymore, and shoes and whatever, boots. So thank you for everything that you can do.
Good morning, I'm Kim. I have been on vacation this past week, and I have actually calmed down and done what I'm supposed to do, which is nothing. So that's good news. I really miss my students, and because I actually really enjoy my job, but it looks like I'm going to miss them one more day. Maybe two, but probably just one more day. But I also have a joy. I am blessed that I live in a house that is warm, and I have food, and I pray daily many times for the people that don't. I also live in a neighborhood where my husband met our neighbors because he went out and helped plow people's driveways, and the men, generally the men with the snowblowers go out and give each other gas if somebody runs out, and that has been something that we've done in my neighborhood the 22 years that I've lived there, and I just feel so blessed about that. Also, my daughter is still at home, and when it snows, all of us bundle up and go out and do it together. And I'm feeling blessed about that, and I hope everybody else has somebody that can help them if they need it.
Good morning, my name is Kathy, and a series of extraordinary events I've been blessed with in the past couple of weeks. It started by the water freezing in the pipes underground and no water coming into the house I was renting a couple of weeks ago. And the DPW saying, well, you're just going to have to wait till it thaws. I said, well, that could be weeks. Well, yeah. Well, in the meantime, I got the Board of Health involved, who told me that if the landlord couldn't provide me with hot water or water, that I could break my lease. Okay. So in a matter really of a week, a millionaire friend of mine put $7,000 in my account for the move, first to last month's rent deposit. I found a place to live. I found a moving company to move me this week during school vacation, so that I'm unpacking now. It was just this whole series of the universe saying, go, get out of there, and everything fell into place. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dawn Dowd. I have the honor of sharing joys and sorrows from our online community. Laura Lenahan writes, a dear friend of mine lost several members of her family in the well-broadcasted Rhode Island ice hockey skating rink shooting last week. There are still family members in critical condition that need our prayers. Thank you. Wes Shefluck writes, he wants to thank everyone who has helped him connect online. Wes, we're glad you're here and it worked. Elizabeth O'Callahan writes that she appreciates posting the information on the bulletin so that we know how we can support our neighbors. And I just want to say, Olympics-wise, I haven't really watched it, but man, I love watching that dog that ran across. Naggles, best thing about the Olympics.
Someone has asked for those of you who have them take down the "Let It Snow" signs. You know who you are. Beth Posner Waldron, where are you? There she is. She says, I'm so happy to be here in person with the help of my dear friend Debbie. I came so I could participate in the book discussion, which is happening after service today in coffee hour. Thank you, Mother Nature, for holding off on the snowstorm, and to Dee and others for keeping the walkway safe. Amen. Let's be in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Spirit of life. We come to you today with a myriad of joys and sorrows, hopes and dreams. We, especially this week, remember those who are in harm's way from weather, and remind ourselves to bring our best to the service of all of those around us. We're grateful this week for new jobs, for those moments that allow us to enjoy life and to find the creativity that blossoms around us, especially in our children, and bask in it. Mindful this day of all of the ways that we can support those who continue to feel vulnerable by federal agency action and status. Grateful this day for friends who remind us that it is right for us to move and to find safe space and haven. Be with us this week as we continue to strive to be more than just simply the bearers of snowfall, but those who bask in the possibility of its silence and the gift that it gives us to be with each other. Amen. And blessed be. you please return to your order of service to the responsive reading that was in addition to it. In this season of turning inward, we pause to notice the longings that tug at our hearts. Some of our desires call us toward growth and courage and compassion. Other desires cling to us out of habit, fear, and scarcity. May we learn the difference between hunger and hope, between grasping and choosing, between wanting more and needing less. Let this be our practice for Lent, to listen deeply, to loosen gently, to live more freely. Please join together in our closing hymn, number 151, found in your gray hymnals, and rise in body or in spirit.
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all these chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things I could say. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear, for the whole world to hear. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear, for the whole world to hear. I wish I knew share all the love in my heart. Remove all the bars that can keep us apart. Wish I could know all it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree everyone should be free. Then you'd see and agree everyone should be free. Wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things I can do. Though I'm way overdue, I'd be starting anew. Though I'm way overdue, I'd be starting anew. I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it could be if I found I could fly. I'd soar to the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd see, 'cause I know how it feels to be free. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know how it feels to be free.
Before I close with our benediction this morning, I want to also report another joy and sorrow, and that is that Joan McGinn has been hospitalized this week with more breathing problems. She asks that if people want to contact her to do so by card. she's not at a point where visitations or phone calls are helpful. We keep her in our heart and in our minds. She's been working diligently toward the International Women's Day service that's coming up in a couple of weeks. So we'll hope that she's well enough to participate, but we send her much love today. As we leave this place, may you carry with you the quiet courage to loosen your grasp, the wisdom to know what truly matters, and the grace to let the rest of it fall away. May your longings guide you toward compassion, not consumption, toward connection, not comparison, toward a life spacious enough for joy to take root. Go in peace, held by the truth that you are enough. You have enough. And together we can build a world where all may flourish with just what they need. Amen. And blessed be. I want to thank Matt for his wonderful music this morning. Are there any short announcements? Quick. Short?
We're having our second financial information session in Classroom 1 across from Aaron's office. There are other meetings happening today that we don't want to interfere with, so we're going to get started pretty quickly. For those of you who have talked to about coming, and for anyone else who wants to come, please quickly grab a cup of coffee and then join us. Thank you.
Next.
And the next meeting after the financial one is about this book group, Blueprint for Revolution. Come even if you haven't read the book, but if you have, be sure to come.
Excellent. In the lounge.
Hats.
And scene.